Martin, welcome to the studio of Inside Tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
You are bringing a new medical device to the market to detect breast cancer with more precision.
Exactly. So we have developed a new method that it's an X-ray based method that allows us to not only acquire how much the X-ray is attenuated in a tissue, but also how much it is refracted and scattered. And with this new method, we can make images at a much improved contrast, especially in soft tissue, because these signals are much stronger in soft tissue. And we are now integrating this method into a new medical device. It's a computed tomography system for breast cancer imaging to provide women a more accurate and painless breast cancer imaging method.
So it will be very different from what the hospitals have today.
Exactly. Today, typically mammography and ultrasound are used together in diagnostics. So mammography is a not so convenient method because the breast has to be compressed.
Compressed is very painful.
Yes, and so at least I don't know a woman that said, okay, tomorrow I have to go for mammography. So our method will be completely painless. So that's a big advantage for the women. And since today, these two methods, mammography and ultrasound, have to be combined to get to all the information that the radiologist needs to get to a diagnosis. It is difficult for the radiologist because he has to combine these two methods in his head to one coordinate system, whereas in our system, he gets all the information in one image at a very high contrast.
Very high contrast, yeah, because right now there are two different pieces of equipment.
Exactly.
And then if the doctor is not sure, hesitating, maybe so they will send you somewhere else to do another test.
Exactly, or they will use a different modality. So sometimes also magnetic resonance imaging is used if it is not so clear with mammography and ultrasound. Ultimately, they will always take a biopsy. And typically in 50% of the cases, after they have done the diagnosis, only in 50% of the cases the woman actually does have breast cancer. So this also means that the method is not that accurate.
Okay, so we're going to bring more precision with this device. Exactly.
With our device, it will be much clearer. We will have true three-dimensional images. One problem that the radiologists have today is are women that have dense breast tissue, because there in the mammography the tissue layers overlap in the image. So in the image it is difficult to see whether there is actually a problem or whether it's just the effect of tissue layer overlap. And with our system we will have true three-dimensional images, so the radiologist can scroll virtually through the data in any direction and actually check whether there is a problem or not. And on top of that, our images will have a very high contrast.
Breast cancer has been a big problem to the society. It's the most common cancer. And I think that everyone knows someone in the close circle, either a family member or a friend of a friend, who has been affected by breast cancer.
Oh, absolutely.
As a doctor, can you give us more insights of what's happening?
Yeah, I mean, every 9th woman will have breast cancer in her life. So it's basically impossible that you don't know a person that has breast cancer because it's such a common disease. The World Health Organization has estimated that every year 2 million women are diagnosed with breast cancer worldwide, and 600,000 women die annually. So every 4th woman that has breast cancer dies from this disease. So it is very important that the cancer can be detected at the early stage very accurately to make sure that treatment can be done early on, and this will ultimately then also save women's lives.
Yeah, absolutely. As we still don't have the cure yet for cancer, but we can still do the treatment, and it's important to start it earlier, to save many
Yes,
lives.
so the earlier the treatment starts, the better the prognosis for the woman and the better survival rate. And also the treatment can be done less invasive. So you can have better treatment, breast conserving, whereas if you detect the cancer only very late, then you have to do mastectomy, so you have to take off the breast, which also of course is like attached to psychological problems for the affected women.
So now with this new device, which you're building right now, you have a prototype.
We are working on building this prototype, and I expect that we will have it ready next year, and then we can make first studies. But in the lab we have already, like, we call it a function model, so a setup where we can make the measurements with samples.
How do you plan to take over the market? And what you think will be the challenges to bring it to the hospitals, starting in Switzerland, Europe, and globally, do you think?
So to make sure that we can enter the market once we are ready, we are collaborating already now with radiologists from our clinical partners, because I think only if we have the support of the scientific community that they can support our method and confirm that it has a clinical benefit, then we can have a big breakthrough. So we are already now collaborating with the radiologists to make sure that usability is correct, so that it fits in the clinical workflow, and that we address all the needs of the radiologists and the hospital staff.
As it will combine two machines or a few machines in one, so it will be faster for women to do the detection.
Oh, it will be much faster, yes. So nowadays, typically, mammography and ultrasound are used together to get all the information needed for making a good diagnosis. And these two methods together takes about half an hour. So with our system, we can acquire more information in 10 minutes. So this means for the hospital, they can diagnose 3 times more patients at the same time.
More women go through the scans.
Yes, so they can scan more women, and they can also attract more women to the hospital because it is a painless method.
Correct. Yeah. This is true. So it will be a breakthrough machine or device in the market to help detect at an earlier stage and give more precision on the first place.
Yes, exactly. So that's really our goal, to have accurate diagnosis at the very early stage with our method.
We're all looking for this new device. Thank you, Martin.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching this interview with Martin Stauber. I'm your host, Yelena-Ganshof, and stay tuned to our next episode of Insight tomorrow.